Coordinated management of meaning theory was developed in the mid-1970s by W. Barnett Pierce and Vernon Cronin. Other more traditional and objective communication theories view communication as merely a means of transferring data from sender to receiver. However, coordinated management of meaning theory takes a much more interpretive and inclusive view of communication. This comprehensive approach takes the form of 4 claims which span understanding communication as a social process to how you can mindfully utilize communication as a tool to improve your social world. The first claim states that our communication creates our social worlds. What this means is that communication is not just a means of transferring data. Rather, the process itself is meaningful. It helps shape our social realities. This is because our social realities are not something out there that we have to find. We create them with our communication, and those realities in turn shape us. This concept firmly grounds CMM in the sociocultural tradition of communication scholarship. The second claim states that the stories we tell differ from the stories we live. Now, what the heck does that mean? Now, the stories we tell are basically our attempts to make sense of our experiences after the fact. However, one story is never the whole story. Think of a time you got in trouble at school. When you went home and told your parents, do you think your story was exactly what happened? Each story can't encompass all perspectives. Therefore, CMM has models such as the loop model to try to find all the points of view surrounding an event. We can craft the stories we tell to be coherent. The stories we live, on the other hand, are not so easy. They're basically the experiential process of our lives interacting with others' lives. CMM has models, such as the Serpentine model, to map out exactly how this plays out, whether interactions go smoothly or turn sour. Now, the coordination part of CMM is when people mesh their lives together purposefully to create a positive outcome, even if you're doing it for different reasons. Imagine a volunteer group and your basketball team come together on a project. The volunteers did it because they felt like it, and the players did it because they have a mandatory amount of hours to meet. They had different reasons, but they had the same positive result. The third claim is we get what we make. Now, if our communication does create our social realities, it stands to reason that the patterns of communication we hold shape our outcomes. For example, if your little brother always attacks you with name-calling, and you always attack back, you are perpetuating that negative relationship. Now, a key concept within this is called the bifurcation point. This is the point in any conversation that dictates the direction that interaction will unfold. Let's examine an example of how this works, then we will discuss why it's important.
But the way you owned up to everything, it just showed me how much you've grown, you know?
I suppose.
You have, Ross, you have. You should give yourself credit. I mean, my mom never thought this would work out. She was all, once a cheater, always a cheater.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just wish we hadn't lost those 4 months. But if time was what you needed just to gain a little perspective...
We were on a break!
Coffee house?
You bet.
And for the record, it took 2 people to break up this relationship.
Yeah, you and that girl from the copy place, which yesterday you took full responsibility for.
I didn't know what I was taking responsibility for, okay? I didn't finish the whole letter.
What?
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
It was 5:30 in the morning, and you had rambled on for 18 pages. Front and back! Oh, and by the way, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are. Y-O-U-R means you're.
You know, I can't believe I even thought of getting back together with you. We are so over.
Fine by me!
Oh, and hey! Those little spelling tips will come in handy when you're at home on Saturday nights playing Scrabble with Monica.
Hey.
Sorry. I just feel bad about all that sleep you're gonna miss wishing you were with me.
Oh, no, don't you worry about me falling asleep. I still have your letter!
And hey, just so you know, it's not that common. It doesn't happen to every guy, and it is a big deal.
I knew it!
Now, the exact moment Ross and Rachel went from lovey-dovey to hateful is when Ross yelled, "We were on a break." This was the bifurcation point. So why is that important? Well, it ties directly into the fourth claim of CMM. If you get the pattern right, you can create better outcomes. What this means is that if you can be aware of everything we've discussed, you can consciously and purposefully use communication to shape the social reality you want. This is the concept of mindfulness. Let's tie this back to Rachel and Ross. Ross had a choice in how he would communicate his frustration. Perhaps if he had been more mindful, the situation wouldn't have deteriorated into what we saw. So why should you care about any of this? The whole point of what Barnett Pierce wanted out of the CMM theory was to positively influence people. If thousands of communication students could learn mindfulness and be aware of not only what they say, but how they say things impacts what they make in this world, imagine the power behind that. For you, next time you now recognize a bifurcation point, think about how what you say next and how you say it is going to impact that relationship. By understanding this, with that one action, you have an opportunity to consciously improve your world. Imagine if we were all conscious and mindful communicators. What do you think would happen?